why no why, and momo answer questions. And then Ashanti Regional, what to say, I say, ECG official back or Ashanti Regional Minister, you're detaining your chinotum because secondary school I ever or more day a banker over millions of Ghana cedis, 1.2 million Ghana cedis in electricity, bills, or million PI. And ECG, any directive, officials not born in directive said they should go and disconnect power supply to the secondary school. As a result, the Ashanti Regional Minister, or the administrative head of Kumasi, Aoda, Ama, Yakwachi Papano, Edna Kwasha, your friends saying a police for adetained, and there has been a lot of reaction from your friends saying electricity workers, our more Kumasi, and what back and forth I course within the media landscape. These are some of the key issues I know you may know, ye be go through Naya Chile dream. And in the comment section, you know, to me at the Wajin Chile at all issues never come one seven. No, they can't say I am and son. A bear Dumsor, the Dumsor politics, but be a starting free where we are going and whether it is necessary for us the bear politics. Now, no, be a sea, no, uncrophobia to the politics, and I say the Siko Koye, and to say, ne, obey the politics is justifiable. These are some of the things, and the challenges at the power sector. Why? At this point in time, we are privy to the fact that your generation capacity in terms of your power are very high. Certain complaint coming from a buying class say we have excess capacity. So why are we facing power crisis today? There has been a lot of revelations. I call independent power producers. I because per the cash water flow mechanism now bind the buy a sebia ye bit your friends and nupana ye diomoka at the power sector no. Where timetable your friend is saying a report from PRC a trese PURC trese a buying commitment or make it to these your friend is saying power producers no on this our commitment and also Sika said the finance ministry a release to them, no, those monies are not going, and as a result, and then I'm getting these power challenges. But government and government officials, the minister and the NPP government is unwilling to accept the fact to say Ghana for a go through Dumsor, erratic power supply, and a lot of challenges are they don't want to admit because maybe a term. They premised their political campaign against John Mahama then on Dumsor because of this power fluctuation and their person. And then, if they admit, say, a Dumsor, a challenge, a systemic problem, there is the need for government to come clean. Now, I want to tell Ghanaians what is actually the problem. Now, you find a way to address Ghana for baby so more. Why? Yawo Dumsor, I must say yawo power in excess. Then questioning in been narrowed down to the economic issue and the catcher say yesika sam atetia pansam as a man. That is why we are unable to pay these people. And because they don't want such questions to arise and they may not have answers to these legitimate questions are Ghana for Ebebisanintino. And then acting with impunity, acting with total disrespect and disregard for the average and the ordinary Ghanaian are all seeking answers to these questions. I be me for answers because obeda sorry you do more Kenya. And me and kasa me personal experience I'm coming to share it with you so far as this power outages is concerned. And it will shock you. A best shock you say power now for the past 1 week in here. Baby I met say power no ko offer. Me shada na ma record at all. Timer light ni ko off. Timer eba. Timer eba ko. Timer eba. And for the past 1 week in here, I've taken the pain to write down a marasanyama way ACC. And if I'm to walk you through last week Saturday, lighter ewo baby a me wo personal experience and I'm noting it down and I may share with you. And this a Ghana ni bisa the energy minister say on for timetable mra. Abraham beka asem we actually you know say that demand no is legitimate, it is appropriate, and it is reasonable. For so anybody to fight it, that person is either being dishonest, either being disrespectful, and I say in the name of this cheap politics, he offers that he's not accountable to anybody because they will have certain highlands within the media, they have certain individuals within the civil society landscape. They have some energetic youth and young people already defending these things, and it's the motivation some of these things. And see, and maybe there and I may go through actually, and I'm sure some most of you are recording me or experience. You can also share our your friend is saying comment section. Remember the name, I said last week Saturday, and yes Saturday ye 2 weeks ago. Light ye doom no anumere 6 p.m. Ye doom light anumere Sunday anumere Saturday anumere 6 p.m. no. By 11 p.m. Hona me sha say ye recording ni free light no go off Saturday. And yes, Saturday ye pay me, but Saturday before last Saturday, no, I'm sure I recorded ye. Light no go off 6 p.m. and by 11 p.m. Saturday. Adiachin ye Sunday no. Adiachin Sunday ye sandun light no 7 p.m. By the following Monday, a year 2 p.m. This is my personal experience I may share with you. Yedum no Saturday 6 p.m. Emma light in a bar back. Anajo wada 11 p.m. no. Sunday at the no. Yesendum light no 7 p.m. About the following Monday area 2:30 p.m. That is almost like a car crack neko drew almost 12 hours. Light off. Again, eno adiachin ye Tuesday no, obi a yedum light 7 p.m. Sunday. Akwa off till Monday ewia no. Edru Tuesday anopa 9 a.m. and 9:30 and yesan dum light ni bi sada no na nsu eto nsu ase power nsu air drizzle kakra. Na edum ye eno no anopana 10:45 and a light and a sign bar back. And since I'm making sure say every day piano light off a recorded baby again. And Tuesday near doom no 9:30 a.m. About 10:45 a.m. no. Adiachin Wednesday. Nkawana will expect so the ordeal here nipa go through the following day no. They will keep the light on. No. Adiachin Wednesday no. About a real 2:30 p.m. and a yedum light no. And yes I saw our 2 assign bar back 3:35. So it was off for almost like 2 hours. Then the following day, Thursday, lights no call off a real BM 2:30 area a bar back 7 p.m. Yedum no adiachin ye Thursday no yedum no 2:30 and a bar back 7 p.m. And then and on a Friday adiachin Friday BM no ye 6 a.m. ye da sorry and panel light no call off 6 a.m. a by numerous 6:30 till Friday no ye doom light every day na ba do Friday no hoping say ye co weekends in the light in the basis no Friday no ye da sorry anopa na ye doom light no. So it went off 6 a.m. by number 6:30 p.m. So light in about 6:30 p.m. no. Light a yedum na no past 6 a.m. Na aba anumre 6:30 p.m. Almost 12 hours no. Ebo 7:15 and I yesan doom no. Yadum light and past 6 a.m. And na ya twanya ma anumre 6:30 abo and a light na aba. Ebo 7:30, less than an hour light na aba no and I san go off. E go off no about 9:30. Then adiachin Saturday 5:40 p.m. and a yedum no. And also no about 12 a.m. And na edima besi and ne de ya me no kasa yi. And ne about 4 a.m. and a yedum light no. And so ni yes air ton about 12:30 and a buy. And this oh he narration ya media ma we ya. A chro say for the past almost a week plus 3 days in here, every blessed day bia light no call off. Every single day bia light no call off. Me said na me nya time and I me daughters and never way nyina go. So may a way just to give you a picture skill description of a desperate situation the average and the ordinary Ghanaian are confronted with at this time. One would expect send nipa yedi to me assure monsai okromano or for the first time recognize this ordeal, this challenge the average Ghanaian go through, and if nothing at all, at least provide the people with timetable. Say, oh, this is not dumnasiesie. Said the akwana omuhwe no eputu no eye your friend say energy minister. This is not so-called Dumsor. This is Dumsor erratic power supply. And there is a challenge. So for him to make an admission and admit, say, oh, yeah, nipa kroya, and 2016. During the campaign, NPP was premised on the fact that John Mahama is incompetent because on to mean keep power no stable. Even though the guy did all he could to ensure, say, obey bibi. Ama ye energy capacity ne energy generation, you know. Ebe basro. Even amidst of that, he was branded incompetent by these same people. And here we are. They cannot tell us how much are you added to energy, your friend is saying, capacity in the last 8 years. They cannot tell. And at some point, I said, ne power na yetimi generate no CD power ye use no. Common sense will tell you say at least say yetimi enya power stable. So if we've gotten to a point and the power cannot be stable for even a day, I'm an say. And there is no guarantees a light going to be off. Now, no, na Dr. Ren, interview our Rainbow Radio UK. In the middle of interview, ni say na you do light, and it's possible. Wow, last week, oba I had na me live. You saw say live ni say na light na call off. Obi enyanka sa light into me call off. But the thing is, come clear, tell the people, because my culture said the relationship that must exist between power and the people, no, must be of mutual respect and intellectual kinship. Nobody is doing anybody a favor. Nobody is pitying anybody. It is as simple as that. So if something goes wrong, leadership, no, sanity. That is why my culture said leadership, no, I move and somebody will tell you that we have leadership 4.0. That is the stage. Every single person within the group is a leader. First, dwell on somebody with a charisma. Dwell somebody with certain influence. And then I say for binum, obia, or by leadership itself, no. is an adaptive social process that incorporates the collective strength of every member of the group. That is my definition of modern leadership 4.0. It is an adaptive social process. I incorporate the collective strength of each member of the group. So, say bet me I provide leadership. Amana yenina. I see it maximize your strength, not a complement each other. Because a individual role in a group you never play no. And then a bit me I solidify the top. So if you think you are a leader and you can act without getting involved the people, it is not true. That is why the problem must be communicated, must be shared. Sebaya in solving it, we will be on the same wavelength. But in a situation where we are being kept in the loop, nobody is telling anybody anything. Some people see this whole governance as some kind of an entitlement for them because and they owe no apology, they owe no responsibility, they owe no explanation to anybody, and they feel they can do anything and get away with it. People think that there is an open room. Inside that room is an unfettered, unchecked power that they can just dig their hands in and act foolishly in any manner without recourse to law, order, nothing. And to Bekaya, in Ashanti region, the Ashanti Regional Minister, so any tendencies, those people, when you see them, you see those kind of tendencies. Those village bush behavior, typical bush behavior. Or say, ECG, I'm a directive. So one of the secondary schools, Yankodum light or Enti ECG boss no hono. Wama police for aqua channel. And I'm sure say you follow the development. Yes, Meti Hai. I will not expect to say school, secondary school. Ebegwa could do that particular level. But the question is somebody are all requested for the arrest of an ECG official. Now, that person is the administrative head. And this is school be only ECG to a team of about 1.2 million Ghana cedis. And the question is, as an administrative head, who will be in our play in an effort to ensure, say, ECG will be paid. Because they need that money to be able to make sure that the power no and so because. And this is a woeful to the stand, they say, Yakocha a school for lighting, now woeful. Then the best thing you can do is to impress on the government of the day to find money and settle the debt. But he didn't do that. He thinks, oh, Ashanti Regional boss, Ashanti Regional Minister, and no, I call. Now, after police, and they will act on his instructions without asking questions. Well, and I'm a catcher say, you see, the most dangerous thing I face in Africa, say, giving political power to a fool. They act without exercising positive discretion. They just act anyhow because they have the power. And the oil, a healthy people who even gave them the power, but they don't care. Just exercise the power. Power, no. You know how political power is very heavy. So, now Tamanipa onim nyansa is very dangerous, not only to himself, but everybody around them. Because they become erratic. You can't predict them. They can do anything. Because this is the right thing to be done. ECG threatens say you become Kanianum, and it didn't just start. Say you're sorry, almost sorry, I know Mukuka light in them. Banya Sadia, secondary schools, you know. And this is a government institution. So if there is anything, there should be some sort of communication within government ranks. Adama ECG some assurance that there is no need to go there because after all, light no kuchoma and young Kurani the betuya. Ayabanya the betuya. So there is no need to punish these kids by taking away their light. But Enam said nobody is showing leadership because there is no leadership. Because there is a broken trust, even among state institutions, you know. Despite resistance and the ECG officials went ahead and you could try light them. That is a big statement. But you see, Nipa Dasani is not ready to avail his mind to these obvious realities. Actually, even state institutions and Kasakwana are losing trust our binum because they don't trust the government. Because the whole regional minister say, don't off the light. We are talking to government, making sure say your money will be paid. Oh yes, sir. That assurance on country or church or to me into we are more macho. And he follows suit. Oko region ma. Aya regional security council no mushiano. The representatives of some of these critical infrastructure no. They are part of it because security include energy. So and ECG officials no more Ashanti region not threaten say any RESEC meeting be ever cause within the Ashanti region no they should not be part of it. So security deliberation involving the Ashanti Regional Minister be ever cause Ashanti region be a critical sector like the energy sector. Say they will not be part of it until the Ashanti Regional Minister comes out and render an unqualified apology to them. And you know how arrogant this man is. He's a very arrogant person. Napo. That is their nature. People who do politics with the bush orientation, that is their nature. So there is no way he's going to do that. And that is the tag of war. But this is not leadership. Leadership will identify a problem, you find a way, when it nipa, go around it and provide solution. Because this whole mechanism of leadership, it is about solving problems. It is not about how much you are paid. It is not about per diem. It is not about nipa. Leadership in our part of the world is geared towards solving problems. And that is it. And this is what we lack the most. So problem now yet government is not willing to come clean. Money says yet at the power producers, those monies are not going through. And independent power producers, when they produce power now, power because let me give you a brief and explanation to why some of these things. For instance, there is a company called Asogli Power Way. So omoba Ghana say omobe generating power. It is maybe a private enterprise or power sector or render a business. When they come into a country, say when you generate power in such large amount, it is only government that have the capacity to be able to purchase light in a microphone produce. So they need some memorandum of understanding on the sign with the government, giving assurance you produce power na obeto. That is the only way omuhia and sana nipana ba ukrum. And recently, Amandi Takrade, this twin city power way or more project or more, I think it is 250 megawatt or 500 or more. These are independent power producers. So they need that assurance from a bank say, yeah, but produce power no. Now see a producer over top. Because one power or power known to me or tomo be ye. So upon that assurance, and mobile, ever produce that power a complementary the water that no. So when they come, they expect to say that arrangement never follow because they are here because government gave them assurance and they produce power. And they produce and a power no more produce most of the money way used to the run as they winning a bank loan. banks and a disika mom and a yes are near man. And your banner set it up. No shall say no produce power to a point. No one to mean to a car. A bigger problem. Because in as much as assurances from government, these are private enterprises are profit oriented. They need money. And aside that, their business must flow because of our bagana. They are looking forward to go to other countries. As or the cat, not the producer and then some kind of car. Or by that bank, some bank money is coming Nigeria and Togo. Na uncle baby or own to me. And over the years, this is the mechanism as some of these banks are some of these power producers are adopting because government is not owning them. Government is owning them and it's not finding the money to pay no. Omo da sore na say or na say kana koso na sika no ma na o makodum omo plant. We sore na o na sika ma na o hakodum no. So excess capacity na say yenya I meet your peak consumption. Our chroma say no. We can't get it. And we are doing the film now, we are doing the film because those independent power will be produce 150 megawatt, will be produce 200, will be produce 150, will be produce 200. So just imagine say you pass 6 credit decide so move do more they are. It means that power kakrana akano. We need to share. And Greek also they were winning or mono. Because of said the omo enuma city no omo enti say ECG omo timema announcement ye bedum light because omo no power no the bulk na se for you omo no hwe so whenever they realize say ade bibe koso a emergency they can shut down light without giving notice. So when you have that happening ECG so nim say have power crisis at my hands because power na ya available no e say a ration sebeya way for benya because you can see ye German will be use wa enso because independent power producers do not do more plant until government pays them. Said that Misha said Mexican there is this PURC report Babonting detailing how government, specifically the finance ministry, has failed to release money under the cash water flow mechanism no yes set up say sikana beto we no then we give it to these players those monies now year mark for some of these players money no enko it is in arrears. So these are the actual challenges and Ghanaians expect government to speak some tell Ghana for no cry womb said the cost is as a result of economic crisis yet home because today we are waiting for IMF. So, what the next tranche of the IMF cash be Brian. Sikani nyama 650 nearby another 650 yaje. Next one 350 and 650 game. And a year 10. And ye fear ni ye jasu nyina this IMF money. Pasasika we ba. Who by that time so do kotia when energy started debt because IMF from Momoti Kroma it could have pen in paper. At the benchmark amount, and they are taking those benchmark. No, oh, you are doing well. You are doing well under the program. They are telling you are doing well under the program. Or might is a Ghana. If you've been given a programmer, worth $3 billion. Sign 3 billion. Sign. Oh, you are doing well. Yeah, now ministers are teams no more interview under the IMF program. We are doing well. The indicators. What indicators? The last time I heard them say, almost said, quantitatively Ghana is doing well. Some of these statistics figures now move to go. Most of them do not even actually reflect the realities on the grounds. They do not. So if it is about quantitative analysis na then how does Sadia no feed into the realities, the economic realities of the average and the ordinary Ghanaian situation? They don't match. There is a mismatch. So who are that as so oh he's doing well. Oh, another program you are doing well. Oh yes. But the reality is the majority of the people are not doing well. The country itself is not doing well because you see, now no make catch you say, oh, I had a conversation with somebody who stressed, oh, we have figures in 2022. Now we have a BA and Neya. He thinks economically Ghana is ye peja ye mukakra. Now see ye peja ye muakohefa. Because we live in a country time so say you are debt in ya postpone debt in we are pushing them forward. So as we speak, for the past 1 year, we are not servicing our debt. It means the sika yinyana they do not na kroma say. Sika na ye pushi ko animu no ye betua obi amfa sika nchaye. So the question is will we be ready? And now aban no share responsibility so far as payment of those monies are concerned. So whoever becomes the next government, that burden will be on your head. That is why I'm saying, we opposition party, be careful with the promises and may say, because considering the economic situation of this country, it will be almost impossible to undertake any massive infrastructure as a project to be. Because a time Samreno, na ya shasi betua ya kanom. Samreno na ya shasi China for almost 1.7 billion ye betua. Yes, omo fan chayen. Paris Club ye betua. Eurobond sikano. We will service them, but ask yourself, those money na he find a be free back. And the fact that government has conveniently attempting to circumvent these obligations, now all finding some convenience by making sure that the numbers look good on paper, but the reality is betraying everybody. That is why in our power sector, we can't even pay for gas. We can't even pay the independent power producers. And government, because they are cowards, they can't come clear and clean with Ghanaians because what happened in 2016? Abraham Mahama president and Dumsor Ekoso. Yehu celebrities are out there doing demonstrations. Can't say Mahodwo Ubekai Asama Mami or no Mushi or Kasai Sebi, Aya Esilosu, or no Sunim some Obekai. Whole lot. And I can say, yes, criticism on those things, within a democratic contest, they are justifiable. But the question is that because they did those things, they are scared to admit, and they Dumsor number. Because Abana, what the board on Mahama, the same Abana and Ghana for the Babono. So they are doing all they could to resist the name Dumsor. But we are then, it is Dumsor. The reality is back on it. You can't run away from it. And it's that grand scheme in the Ashanti region when they rebranded the friend saying 6 units of their Mary plant. In the core Ashanti region and Napo Jina and Semna can say there are some people around Okosku could do saying you can't polish them. Because some people who can one casa will be we are learned, we are very intellectually, we are apta. Sometimes some people who can one casa crab a ferry. He was bold enough to stand in the Ashanti region and defend the fact to say this is a legacy project of President Akufo-Addo, and for that matter, Nkrumah Baba Yebi, I say when a champion Baba Yebi, President Rawlings Baba Yebi. There's a John Mahama the impossible boni dim crowd. See some of these things. But plants now, all their qua wakika boma or lanchino, or be any book of a by any pan on person bonidino. In politics near Bands any bedroom has a. So do a more is for politics. Memaka, you see, when leadership a move away from say a provider near seeking the welfare of the people to a pointer. Ebe say harness political capital out of everything. A honor or mind losing the consciousness. And if care is not taken, you better run it into a ditch. And that is the point we are. Today, the conscience of society, because amidst of all these challenges, who is bold enough outside the political space, so I sorry, and then may I also for Dumsor esi. The energy with which they criticized in the 2016, the same energy is here. Somebody must solve. Amidst of and some nobody is able to speak. But the reality is dawning on all of us. Because you doom light now shape heat way man. Just say, I drink painful. Fish are on you, you'll be sweating like a pregnant fish. Because the weather is very hot. The common courtesy and the decency to remind you, say, oh, Charlie, and then you pray about 6 o'clock. And you see, there is an ally. The last time I read it to you, there is an ally. So, light, notify the people 3 days before. It is at the back of that law. And a PURC4 at the finding ECG board of directors, you know, because they breached that particular provision. So, opposite udum lighter. There is this legislation. Say, notify the people, tell them, say, you can decide to off the light 40 times a day and you'll be asem. I give a copen and brano shall say, so opposite do not notify the people to show a sign of respect. When I plan outage. And when I planned, or bint mean case a mistake, or bint mean case a accident, or big catcher as a plant, I'm saying a sugar when it him. The reality is a independent power producers, you know, a take a more pound of flesh from government because at this point they don't trust government anymore. And as you take you more out of the picture, energy we know, and so yeah. And so yeah, because more complementary the way. So they are critical stakeholders. They are indispensable in our energy sector. So we need to find a way. I know that working together to ensure, say, amidst this stormy circumstance, in a stormy situation, I mean, calm will prevail. Not that assurance, because but you see. These independent power producers are not fools. They understand leadership, our version of politics and governance. And in as much as most of these companies are foreign owned, you know, sir, everybody involved in the operation and the management of these things, power laws, most of them are Ghanaians. So they are privy to the political realities. Or we are privy to the economic realities and underpinning a current economic situation. And you know, the politics here they know. So when we are independent power producer, now we are privy to the fact that are buying over the years, spending money on fancy fixtures. They are engaging in a one-time dissipation of state resources, state money. You didn't say tugu ede chese ya de bobra bone na time so for instance as a security man or boss akofo betan the gate da bia obohu say the prako ewura fie ho okunu we na one na yere na ma ye to party na ye che every day bia ohu say o makoto prako awa bonten na ye ku na ye che na ye friend am for na ye be party security na oti gate no a dakran so young monka say, oh, challenge kase na boom. Na a drew months is now what you pay. Na a few na catch us a ho, a hot a crabo na unim say, party ya de be a me and Tiama Missicasem, a conform to the Yamotara mammy. When your security man a wabble town, how about boy if you run any sort to tune a cent? Sanity, I tell her. Independent power producers, no, they are here. They are privy to happenings. They read the news. They see the actions and the inactions of government, the many corruption, the many reckless decisions. Those silly decisions are they are privy to everything. So at the end of the day, if you go into the negotiation table to sit down with them and tell them, so Charlie, or mine na your one chile into yourself, or bakasa win ye serious. Because the daily realities are who live no or winning. They know your economic routines, how you spend your money on fancy fixtures. They know, so they will not agree. Especially when there's a board mechanism you set it up. Maybe they say when there is a cash flow, reimburse them, and you are not reimbursing them. Because fund the cry about was a yade jisicano has been mortgaged, yakwaji sikaba bedi. And the sikana betoma and okra is a competition on its own. These are the serious, your friend is saying, governance infraction. Yeah, clear to ourselves, and it is about time we come clean. Because you see, the mere fact say, yeah, your minister, no, doesn't mean say we are a repository of knowledge. And now, who you fetting you be, and I say, when you mean such you be, because never make us a home fair and you're the president. In 2016, your boy election, a Casa Kufado now when the nano will change your resource. At the more before. And ya home fair Ghana for. If free say a Juman over to me and yet the mount. It will start to mean that you need to respect the people. You need to accord them the maximum respect that they deserve by making sure that but make sure you're on the same page with the people. Be transparent. Where you need to make candidate admission, you make those admissions. I remember when President Kufuor came. Prior to his coming, now he was bastardizing, criticizing Rawlings's administration for many instances of corruption and no free and narcoso. When he came, he introduced zero tolerance for corruption. At some point, realizing the reality, he said, no. I do not think China is different. He made a very profound admission by saying, say, corruption is as old as Adam. And there is nowhere a bind to me to us here. I'm gonna feel cry. And a lot of Ghanaians agree with him. So beyond the political fantasies and everything, no, these are the realities. So what we can do, let's say, taking up certain measures to mitigate, and as you reduce, the negative outturn in your yes or no. You better reduce to the barest minimum, because governance, leadership, politics is a human endeavor, and always some of these things, it will be very difficult to us, especially in our part of the world. And we being black, I've told you, we are a very greedy and dangerous species. Nyamia body and dangerous. Nyamia body of bow we are seeing and dangerous. And that is the reality. So such candid admission, water down the pressure. Now Ghanaians will identify themselves with you. But you see, we've created a situation where the president will come and tell us, oh, Charlie, I'm minding your watch today, so let us share the burden. So the question a reasonable person will ask you is he sharing the burden? What is your share of that burden? You tighten your belt when the president doesn't have even a bed hose. Now campus or the bed him. When people may say those times now I'm for your emotional, those silly politics, I know Mufri say politics and I say abusunya bi asem yempie nipa binum. You see that particular way adweno esesa because and the time will come as a Ghana for do na eti politics asi ehumunyansa. There be a catch also. There are a lot of people who lose their essence and relevance. Today they are deemed fit because people who deem them fit are ignorant. Today there are people who are perceived to be doing right, they are there this, but when the people become intelligent, when they come to appreciate politics in depth, China shoe. What the Bob Brain? China shoe. A shawana mana sena wire to form. You don't Bob Brain. And this is the reality. So I think that we